Hi, Judah Nation. It's so good to see you. I'm Angie Hipple. My sweetheart Chuck is here with me and the beautiful global Judah family. And tonight we're going to be spending time with Judah, learning how to take a whole lot of nothing and turn it into something magical, something full of possibility, something for expanding you and the journey of your soul. So it's going to be about a lot of nothing and making that into something beautiful, something unexpected and powerful. So let's begin with a channel from Judah, and then we'll proceed. Hello, dear Judah family, Judah Nation all around the world. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We love gathering you together, for this time. Yes, gathering you up like little chicks back into the nest for a time of feeding, comfort, direction, intuitive training, understanding, and yes, of course, we are here to love on you, dear ones. So gather into the nest, yes, and snuggle in close. Feel the warmth of our wings, of our care and love for you around you now. Open up, open hearts, open mind, open body. Receiving our loving energy for you tonight. Yes. We want you to know that you are seen. We know who is here. We know who is here in this moment of time and also who is coming to this recording in future moments of your time. And we prepare carefully, knowing each one and each need. And you will sense this and feel this. There will be certain things that are said, and you will have a sense. There are things that will be said tonight that are specifically just for a certain one who is listening. And these phrases, these words, they are keys to unlock you from the prison cell of your mind, from the prison cell of your circumstances. And so these words are perfectly timed for your need, for what is of most importance to your soul. As a matter of fact, we have even gathered up from your souls these questions, these things that are important to you. Did the vessel do it in a physical sense? No, we have done it. We have done it in the realm of the field, of the quantum field, gathered up your questions, your desires, your wantings, your hurts, your passion. Yes, your questions are like prayers, my dear. When you ask a question in your heart, why is this happening to me? What am I missing? Is this person right for me? Whatever the question is that is arising from your heart, it is a prayer. It is a prayer in the unseen realm. These questions go out and touch angels and other beings who are at your disposal and elicit a response from us. Yes? Good. So keep asking your beautiful questions and then watch and listen for the answer. And many times when we are whispering in your ear, you receive an answer to your own question. And you might realize it is us, or you might simply think that you have a clever moment or a connection to your higher self. It doesn't matter to us. We don't need credit for anything that we do. We are only happy for you to receive the insight that you need to move yourself forward with momentum. And we love this. We love this. We love this. So you are on a journey of trusting, learning to trust yourself, learning to trust in the truth that you are supremely supported and guided at every turn. Now, this vessel is an only child, the only child of her mother and father. And so for her, in her earthly experience, she has not found the experience of the love and care of a big brother or big sister, or the bond with a little sister or brother that many of you know from your relationships with siblings, which also, of course, can be adversarial as well. And so she can have a tendency, because of her condition, the conditions in which she lived her life, to think that she is alone. But this is not the case, not the case at all. We are her big brothers and sisters, and you are her little brothers and sisters, and she is wildly supported and never alone. And the same is true for you, my dears. The same is true for you. You are never alone. You may find your physical form being alone quite often, but we assure you, you are always surrounded, and you should never lack for someone to converse with. You can draw the presence of angels into your experience. You can literally feel in your physical form our wings, our arms, our kisses, our holding of you. Yes, and it feels like the delicious love your soul has been longing for. This is available to you. Begin to draw it into your experience. Good, now let us continue on in the evening, delving into turning your nothings into something extraordinary. Invite your angels and guides to sit in on this time. Yes, with you, with us, with this vessel. Anticipate you will leave this time as a different person than you were when you entered it. And this is the way of basking and bathing in higher realms of consciousness. It elevates your own personal state of being and allows you to be more of your expanded essence. And more aligned with the soul. And that is why you keep coming back, my dears. That is why. Ask Judah event in June. If you have a question for Judah, or you want some healing and maybe you're not in a position to afford a personal session right now, you can show up for that event. We have an hour where I take questions. I can't get everybody in, but I'll get as many people in as I can. You can ask Judah a question directly. And in the second hour, we do a group healing. They are very powerful and transformative, and we would love to see you there. Okay, much love to all of you. Okay, we're going to dive into the topic, which is about a whole lot of nothing. Here we go. Here are our mantras for this week. Do nothing. Be nothing. Say nothing. Demand nothing. Want nothing. Expect nothing. Let's start with do nothing. Sometimes we need to just clear a space in our lives to just do nothing. Do nothing. Osho taught us that boredom is one of the last steps in the pursuit of self-realization, of enlightenment. Why did he say this? Because as we elevate our consciousness, there are fewer and fewer energies in this world that we want to engage, right? We are looking for those pure, peaceful, loving, high vibrational energies. And so we have less to do. We might not be bar hopping anymore. We might not be going to watch violent movies at the movie theater. We might not be doing all kinds of things. And so there can be this space of boredom that comes. But doing nothing is a tremendous spiritual practice. When we stop and set aside a time to just do absolutely nothing, then our ego will pipe up whatever's left of it, and it will stir us up to feel agitated and ill at ease and not at rest, right? Because we have so much conditioning that we're supposed to earn love, that we need to be working. We have to perform in order to be safe in the world. And if we stop performing, everything will fall apart, right? This is how we've been trained by life and by our culture. And so when we set aside time to do absolutely nothing, it helps us to release or let go of that conditioning that we have to earn love and affection, earn safety, and so on. You know, babies, when they're born into the world, they don't feel compelled to do anything. That's nothing in their instinct, but just to lay there and receive love and drink their mother's milk and look in their mother's eyes and just be loved. They don't feel compelled to go out and get a job or earn good grades or anything like that, right? So doing nothing. There was a beautiful comment by someone on our Telegram feed this week that was asking about, she was saying, I think I might be addicted to self-help. And she was asking for some insight on that. And by the way, guys, if you need some support and insight for your life, the Telegram group, Judah Family International, is a great, amazing free resource. So many really powerful, wise people there that have been hanging with the Judah channel for a while, and they do have good insights to offer. But she said, you know, I think I might be addicted to self-help, and this made me giggle because I was definitely that person, of course, as well, very addicted to self-help. For me, that was an indicator that there was some aspect in my inner being that believed that I was broken and needed to be fixed, that there was something wrong with me or some piece of information that I was still missing in order to be okay and to be okay with myself. So this kind of addiction to self-help and spiritual practices can be at times an area driven by our ego to feel this need, to feel this desire to be okay. If that rings true for you, doing nothing can be a way that you can just begin to break the back of this ego lie. I must do more, I must be more. So taking breaks from spiritual work can be good for you. Sometimes you can just take a couple of days off or just for a weekend say, I'm not going to do any spiritual related stuff. I'm not going to do any personal growth, self-help stuff this weekend. I'm just going to do nothing and just enjoy life, right? And let yourself off the hook for a while. Now, if you are truly addicted to self-help stuff and spiritual practices, you will know it, because when you set aside that time to do nothing, you'll feel anxious inside. And that's good. That's showing you, that anxiety is showing you, yes, what Angie said is true. There's a part of me that feels like I'm not enough, I'm not okay, I've got to do more in order to be all right in the world. So doing nothing. Say nothing. Say nothing. Chuck and I spend so much time being quiet. We do talk about necessary things, and sometimes we banter about this and that, but we are very, very quiet. As a matter of fact, it's probably odd and weird to people that hang out with us. You know, in Proverbs it says, in a multitude of words, sin or error abounds. That word sin there means error. So what does that mean? It means that the more we talk, the more likely we are to get in a mess. The more likely we are to be in error about something. And so the smartest person in the room is generally the quietest person in the room. As you move towards enlightenment, you will find yourself feeling less and less interested in banter, cultural niceties, and what do you do, what's your name, what do you do conversation, right? And even that in itself tells us so much about our culture. Well, the first thing we ask people when we meet them is, what do you do? What do you do for a living? Which goes back to our first point, that so much of our culture puts all the emphasis on our work as our identity, rather than our essence, our soul essence, which is so much bigger than whatever we do for a paycheck, right? So say nothing, right? Soon, I'm not sure when, but I will announce it, we'll have a day of silence in the Judah family. And so all of us who want to can agree together to set aside a day to just be completely quiet and not talk. And when you engage a practice like this and try it on, what you discover is how important words are for getting what we want, and also how useless many of our words are. So understand that in any communication, words can be helpful when they're consciously chosen, and words are very, very powerful. The creation story tells us that Spirit created the world with with words. In the beginning was the Word was God, and the Word was with God. So there is a vibration in our words that is powerful, be it for consciousness or unconsciousness, good or evil, and many shades in between. But what is it all about, the words? All of our words that we use are only our attempts to connect with one another, to connect. So are our words helping us connect? So when we say nothing, that's one of the ways we can acknowledge that real connection, real communication goes beyond words. They are energies. And energy is transcendent communication. I'm going to say that again. Energy is transcendent communication. So during the week when I'm doing personal sessions with you guys, many of you, I would say maybe about half of you, I'm helping you to channel for the first time. And so in some of those cases, I would say quite a few of them, when you first enter a channeling state, as Judah and I are guiding you, you may not hear any words at all. And so you may think in your mind that something's wrong, that you're missing something or blocked in some way because you're not hearing words in your mind or words coming out of your mouth. That is not true at all. That is a lie. The truth is you are connected. You are in a channeling state. You are receiving love energies from the entities that you are channeling. And so what I have learned by helping so many of you is this. Angels, your angels and guides, Judah's and others, they care more about communing with you energetically and bringing loving energies around you. They care about that far more than they do about words and messages. So when you enter that channeling state, you're saying nothing. Just let their love flow over you. And I have also learned that 9 times out of 10, the very first thing that beings want to accomplish with you when you channel them for the first time is only to let you know how much they love you, that they are there for you, and they are supporting you. This is the first message that I hear coming through when you guys channel for the first time. I hear it all the time. So saying nothing. Remember that words are only symbols for feelings and experiences. So what's more important than the words is the experience that you have of divine love. As a young girl and as a woman, I spent years reading a Bible which was full of tens of thousands of words, reading and reading and reading and reading those words. But what Judah has taught me is this. All those words in that book, you know what those words represent? They represent real people. Real people who had a real mind-blowing, mind-bending, earth-shattering experience with the divine, with Jesus, with a burning bush, with angels. You see? So experience is more important than words. You are your own sacred text. Your life experience that you are living is far more important than any words you could read in a sacred text. You are the sacred text. Do nothing. Say nothing. Be nothing. Do nothing. Say nothing. Be nothing. Let's talk about be nothing. Some of our roles are so closely tied in to our lives that they are really difficult to separate ourselves from, especially roles like father, mother, daughter, husband, partner. But what if you could just divest yourself of those roles for a while? This is one of the powerful reasons for meditating. When you meditate, if you stay in that space for a while, you just go into that place where you are nothing to anyone. Nothing to anyone. You're just a nobody, nowhere, no time, no space, as Dr. Dispenza has taught us. So we need times to just be nothing. Whatever your wifely roles are, your roles at work, your roles in parenting your children, you need a space to drop those. Ladies, I can tell you, mother was the role that was the closest and nearest and dearest to my heart. And this is a good role. It is a function that we need to do and we want to do. And we do it with all the love of our soul, our essence, coming through that role. We want to love our kids, not just as a mom, but we want to be God in a female body, loving our kids in the mother role. But if we get so tied in with these roles in our ego, in an ego perspective, then when our kids move out and go and have their own life, then we're a mess because we don't know who we are anymore. Yeah? How many marriages out there fall apart when the kids go off to college? Well, it's because the mom and the dad have forgotten that they're more than a mom and a dad. Yeah? That's just a role. So being nothing, let go of your roles. Some of us have been doing this spiritual work for so long that we tend to think of ourselves as this kind of saintly spiritual person, a good person, a kind person that's on this path of spiritual growth and transformation. And so we are so tied into that identity that we won't allow ourselves to say a curse word or just make a mistake, like maybe have one drink too many or something like that. We stop allowing ourselves to just be nothing. We're so tied into that role, right? So we're not good, bad, saint, sinner, angel, devil. You don't need to be any of those things. Just be nothing. Be nothing. You're not a saint. You're not a sinner. You're not an angel. You're not a devil. You're not good or bad. You just are. You just exist. You know, there's a story in the Bible where the rich young ruler came to Jesus and he said, "Good teacher, please tell me, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" And Jesus said, "Why are you calling me good?" Why are you calling me good? Nobody's good but God. You see, God, or the all that is nothing and everything. The all is nothing and everything. So until we completely fold back into the all, which is, from what Judah has explained to us, is a 13th dimensional function. When we reach that 13th frequency of our existence, when we just roll right over into all that is, and we just disappear in all that is. But that is, in that state, it's all light. It's all light. It's all God. And until that time, we just are what we are. We are what we are. Whatever you do, good or bad, doesn't qualify you as divinity. You already are that. So being good, being gooder, is not going to make you more of that. And doing something bad is not going to disqualify you. So being nothing, be nothing. Do nothing, say nothing, be nothing, be nothing, just exist. Think nothing. Let yourself just stop thinking. Just stop thinking. Stop. And if you can't, that's okay. Just laugh at yourself. Well, there I go, thinking again. You see, our thinking got us to where we are, and all that's fine. Our minds are beautiful, beautiful tools that can be really endowed with infinite intelligence. And the mind is very, very powerful, but it can also be misleading as well, and particularly in the places where we're still under a lot of delusionary thinking from our conditioning. So the fear, ego fear, you get that? Ego's always fear. Ego tells you a lie. It says, be clever, you better be clever, or you're going to fall behind. You'd better think about it, or something bad's going to happen. And if you don't think about it a little more, you're going to get something you don't want, or you're not going to get what you do want. And so the mind, the ego mind, fear-based mind, will convince you that more thinking is going to solve your problem. Well, thinking does not solve problems most of the time. Most of the time it does not. So the fear lie is, if you don't think about this, you're going to be stuck with this thing you don't want. Yeah. So these thinking, a lot of our thinking, when it's driven by fear of the ego, is judgments, beliefs, opinions, and they lead us to pain. Having a judgmental thought or a more cleverly disguised judgment is a belief, and those definitely masquerade as good beliefs and opinions. It's my opinion, this and that. Most opinions are cleverly disguised judgments. They will lead us to pain. Yeah. So one way, a practical way that I'm applying some of this is on the election. I don't think anything about it. I watched a couple of minutes of the debates this week, and I have no thought about it. I don't need to think anything about it. I don't need to do anything about it. I can just breathe in and breathe out and let things unfold. Let things unfold. So some mantras that help us with this, thinking nothing, is, I don't know. I don't know. You see, my mind will say, the ego, fear-based mind will say, well, if that person wins the election, it's going to be bad. It's going to be so, so bad. But I don't know that to be true. I don't know. Another thing we can say, sometimes when we say I don't know to other people in conversation, it can be off-putting. Yeah, which is okay. If you need to be off-putting, that's all right. But you could say instead, I don't have an opinion about that. Yeah, so this is a time, especially through now in America, through the end of the year, where there's going to be a constant temptation to get drawn into conflict, drama, arguments, taking sides, all of that ego-based stuff. So it's okay to say, I don't have an opinion about that. Or if you do have an opinion about that, you can just say, I have an opinion about that, but I prefer to keep it to myself. Yeah? Now, if you really do have a problem and you think, well, I have to set aside some time to deal with this problem. Okay, so meditate and be in that place of no thought, thinking nothing, and releasing the problem. And then have another segment of time where you just sit, okay, I'm going to take 10 minutes or 20 minutes here and just think about this issue and come up with my strategy or my plan, my action or inaction. I'm just going to think about this for a little while. And then when you're done, put that in a box, so to speak, and move on and drop it. Drop the thought about it. Yeah. So you can go back and forth when you have a serious issue between giving it focused, conscious, attentive thought, perhaps in a channeling state where you can receive information from your guides and your higher self, and then drop it, and then have times of just thinking nothing. And just, if it pops into your mind, the problem or issue, just say, I'm dropping that for now. I'm dropping that for now. Most things in life are not urgent. If it's life-threatening, it might be urgent. Even with many disease diagnoses that could be terminal, but yet it's not generally usually so urgent that you have to make a decision right away. So when something is feeling urgent, that's our clue that something's not right here. That's a good indicator that we need to drop the issue, meditate, stay centered, do nothing, be nothing, say nothing, think nothing. And if we can hold that sort of presence, and I'm speaking, these are like really enlightened actions, but if we can hold that presence, most of the time, problems work themselves out. People figure things out. Things just have a way of resolving themselves. Yeah. Now, if you know that you are in some of these areas here, if you're new to this spiritual work, we welcome you. And if you're in these areas of sadness, fear, a lot of anger or frustration, especially if you're in the red ray of sadness and victimization, there can be some action is needed for you. So the things we're talking about tonight, this be nothing, do nothing, say nothing, think nothing. These are more of these really high level, more enlightened strategies. Okay? So when your level of consciousness are in these areas, it requires more action. And as you get into the heart space and then begin to operate in these higher levels, there's less and less action from you. And whatever actions you do take are usually very conscious and aware and full of intention. Okay, a couple more. Control nothing. Be nothing, say nothing, do nothing, think nothing, control nothing. Control nothing. Control nothing. You know, I was taught in Christianity that the fruit of the Spirit is self-control. Well, that is true. This is an evidence of mastery. Mastery is when you have control of yourself. This is the fruit or the evidence of you living a life of spirit, connected to spirit. When you have control of your thoughts, you have control of your emotions, you have control over your health and your physical state, your finances, anything that you are directly responsible for, you have control over that. That's a good kind of control, self-control, right? Self-control is based, the self-control that comes from spirit is based in peace and calm and authority and power, inner power. Now, the wrong kind of self-control that's ego-based is the kind of control in which you, let's say, don't eat enough, like anorexics. They really struggle with control. This kind of control is based from fear, right? So that's how we differentiate between good self-control and bad self-control. The bad stuff, the ego stuff, is based in fear. Okay, some of you have some control problems about what you eat. You have bought into a way of living in which you eat really healthy, vibrant, life-giving foods, and that is good. Nothing wrong with that. But you're afraid to eat a piece of cake. You're afraid. Okay, so that's not good. That's not the kind of control that we want. So control nothing. So we're keeping ourselves centered in our power, but we're hands off with other people, places, things, situations, events, circumstances. Yeah? Now, one of the most damning pieces of my religious programming was that I was taught the Great Commission, which, by the way, was sadly misinterpreted in Scripture. Maybe I'll set aside a night just for that. But this thing called the Great Commission basically instructs Christians to save the world by telling everybody the story of Jesus and the message of Jesus. And so from a very young age, it was put upon me and all the other young people that were a part of the churchianity that I was a part of, that we had to save the world. Save the world. And if we were really good Christians, then we would go to some third world country and become missionaries. Okay, so this is a big head trip, right? You are never responsible to fix anyone else. You're not responsible to help them see the light. You're not responsible. Everyone's responsible for themselves. So we can be hands off with our kids, hands off with our parents, hands off with our spouses, raising our own level of consciousness, minding our vibration, minding our frequency, minding our environment, elevating our state of being. And as we do that, that is how we change the world. That is how we change the world. Be nothing, say nothing, do nothing, think nothing, control nothing, want nothing. You have anything so far?
I have nothing to say.
Okay, he's listening to the message, say nothing, and he has nothing to say. Our wanting can be evidence of the ego, which is a malcontent. The ego is a malcontent. It always wants something more. I was talking to a beautiful young man who has a precious partner, and when I listened to him talk, I recognized in his stories about his partner, I recognized myself. Women, we can do this. Not just women, I'm sure, but I can only speak for myself. We want something more. We want, I don't know, a new mailbox. We want a new rose to go in the garden out front, or we want a better vacation, or we want a new pocketbook, or I don't know what it is we want. But what I heard in this sweet young man's story is that I told him, I said, don't buy into it. You'll give her what she wants and there'll be something else. And then you'll give her that and she'll want something else. And you'll do that next thing for her and she'll want something else. Isn't this the way? This is our way. The ego wants stuff and it's never satisfied. Never, ever satisfied. It wants more, right? So want nothing. If you can, just drop it. And if there's something right in your face and you just want it so bad, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a car, maybe it's a job change, I don't know what it is, but it's something that your mind, the ego mind, has convinced you that if you have that thing, you will finally feel good about life. You'll finally be happy. You'll finally be okay. If you can, when you feel that, just drop it. And if you can't drop it and it's just wrangling around in your emotions, just know the truth. Okay, this is just my ego, just wanting something. And I know I'm conscious. I just feel that I want this, but I know the truth. I know the truth is when I get it, there'll be something else that I want. And so today, I'm not gonna give in to the ego. I'm gonna want nothing. And this is how we understand that we have really crossed over into love enlightenment. When you are in a space of love enlightenment, you don't want anything from the person in front of you. You don't need them to do anything for you. You don't need them to praise you. You don't need their gratitude or thanks. You don't need a favor. You don't need some sort of payback or a scratch on the back. You literally want nothing from them. Nothing at all, nothing at all. Yeah? And when you're so full of the love of Source, when you're so full from having loved yourself thoroughly, inside and out, front to back, all the parts of you, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between, when you're in that state, you really don't need anything from anyone. Okay, so wanting nothing. One of the ways we can be okay, begin to be okay with whatever it is we're wanting, is just to say, I'm okay. This is okay. This situation is okay, and I'm okay. And it's okay that I'm experiencing this. And that can be your mantra. I'm okay. It's okay. It's okay that I'm experiencing this. You see, the fear-based ego tells you a lie, that if you don't want things, that you'll lose. Your life will be worthless. Nothing worthwhile will happen to you or through you. You must want things, or you're going to be a failure. You will fall behind. But that's just not true. All right. Say nothing, do nothing, be nothing, want nothing. So why have we focused on all these nothings tonight? Because if you can embrace these nothings, be nothing, say nothing, want nothing, control nothing, do nothing, demand nothing, if you can embrace those, this makes space for everything. This makes space for more than what you've already experienced. It makes space for infinite possibilities. Your infinite possibilities as an infinite creator being, unlimited possibilities that you, of things, experiences that you can create. And in the expansion of your soul, the more you are, the more you become. The more you are, the more you become. Jesus said it this way, to the one that has, even more will be given. And to the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. What is he speaking of here? He is speaking of this universal law of abundance. When you have some, more comes, and more and more and more. And when you're focused on lack and limitation, what you want, what you don't have, then even what you have is taken away from you. And this is why the poor many times become poorer and the rich become richer, because of this universal law of abundance. It is the nothing which holds the everything. And this is how you can understand God. God is the nothing that holds the everything. God is both the nothing and the everything. I am. The I am is all things, seen and unseen. God is both all that is and all that is not. Good. So let's take some time to work on this a little together, okay? Yes, dear ones, come into this beautiful space with us, this space of nothing, this space of emptiness, this womb space of the Creator, womb space where life grows, cells split, cells divide and expand exponentially, more and more and more and more and more and more and more cells of life splitting and expanding until there is a heart beating, a heart beating, a heart beating, beating. Yes, come into this nothing space of the womb of the Creator. Be content to breathe in and breathe out, and breathe in and breathe out. You don't need to be married to any particular thought. Thoughts like to think they are very important, but in truth, they are gone, are they not? Tomorrow, you will not remember a single thought that you had today. And when you lay down your head on the pillow tonight, you will enter the infinite realm of possibilities. And in your dream state, you may be many, many, many things or nothing at all. You may simply be observing the vast and infinite possibilities of consciousness. And so what has all of this message been about? Releasing your attachment to your perspective, to your story, to your identity, to your role, in order to roll back into the heart of God, from whence you came. From whence you came. You were, as many times a father or mother may say, I remember when you were a twinkle in your mother's eye. Speaking of before the conception, understand that your father, mother, God, remember when you were just a twinkle in their eye. When we say father, mother, not being bound to gender, but only speaking of the creative life force of all that is, of consciousness from which you came to exist. And that is what you are above all things, my dear. You are a twinkle in the eye of God. God holds you in the center of her pupils. You are the center, the apple of God's eye. You are the twinkle. You are the shine. You are the shine, shine, shine in your Father, Mother, God's eyes. You are the child of the Most High, the offspring of your source. This is the nothing that is everything. You are the everything. You are the nothing that is everything. Yes, you are the center. Come back into your center. Come back into quiet. Come into peace. Know yourself fully as the all that is nothing and everything in between. That is beyond words, beyond defining, beyond the need for words' definitions. Come down, my dears, into experience. In our presence, presence comes in the nothing. Yes, come into our presence. Come in with nothing. Nothing on your mind, nothing in your heart, nothing in your hands, no demands, nothing that you require of us. And then you will find yourself in bliss. Fioroda via de heororo, Kiloriaria vietoste, Ikele ala hamala vale on la heno, Ishvele la neo mavonda, Kivere halo lonte, Ivele ala haya lehiato, Kimavavela ialetsia noyate. Uvala valia la unda heosta, Kirodo hiotonda hedeosha, Shikorona dia viorondama, Kiveriana haro ya heolo ya sheneteana, Kivorono ya leotonati, Kima violona. Om. Okay, precious ones, be so blessed. Just allow yourself some time this week to do absolutely nothing. And if you feel bored and frustrated, it's okay. Just do it anyway. And just feel what you feel. And give yourself some time to drop all your roles, not to be available to the people, persons, places, and things that you're usually available to. Just to do nothing, be nothing, say nothing, want nothing. Maybe just lay on the ground, feel the ground underneath you. Or maybe get in some cool water somewhere if it's hot where you are, and just float. Just float. Be at ease. And let yourself expand. Whatever feels tight and constricted and disempowering for you, move away from that and move towards what feels bigger, brighter, lighter, happier, more expansive. And don't question it. Don't question it. Just do it. Do what you want to do. All right, dear ones. Anything you want to share, sweetheart? No? Okay, precious ones. We love you so much. So try to see if there's any more news. Come Saturday if you can. We'll see you next Sunday on the live. If you haven't jumped in and gotten a part of the Telegram group, you can find it download the Telegram app on your phone, and it is the Judah Family International. There are some spiritual guidelines there that we ask you to read and follow around the communication in order to keep it a safe and loving space. And I do have, I think, 2 or 3 spots left this coming week and next week for a personal session. If you've been trying to get in, you can probably nab that spot. And I think there's 2 or 3. And I'll look forward to meeting you there and spending time with you. Okay. Love you all.